The weekly briefing that we'll be covering today, June 26th, going through Sunday, July 2nd. Kind of really hard to believe that we're already near the end of June. Summer is just kind of going by. So let's go ahead and get started here. I have with me Emily Nagamoto, who is working with us this summer as well. She is doing some research for us. So I'm sure most of you have probably seen our briefing that came out earlier, and especially the last couple days. We've been actually looking at this potential severe threat for maybe 3 or 4 days, and it still looks to be quite an impressive event. So we have a threat for not only severe thunderstorms, but also the threat for heavy rainfall and potential flash flooding. So let's kind of break that down for you. So we have an enhanced risk for severe thunderstorms from late afternoon through the late evening hours, and that enhanced risk is a level 3 out of 5. Something abnormal for this time of year in central North Carolina, so kind of want to highlight that. And that essentially means that numerous severe thunderstorms are possible, and essentially are going to go into that and highlight some of the wind and the hail threat, most especially. So those thunderstorms should develop across the western Piedmont, the Triad during the late afternoon, develop into a cluster or line of severe thunderstorms as they track eastward into the Triangle and towards I-95 and the coastal plain. The current timing that we're looking at, based on all of the guidance that we've seen, roughly between 3 and 8 p.m. in the Triad, anywhere from 5 to 10 p.m. in the Triangle, the Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill area, and across Fayetteville and the Sandhills and the coastal plain between 7 p.m. and midnight tonight. It looks like we do want to point out that there is a considerable damaging wind threat today and tonight with the thunderstorms that develop. This is not necessarily, something that certainly has happened in the past, but these are somewhat of these higher end threat days that we typically only get a few of these a year. So definitely want to highlight there is a considerable threat of damaging straight line winds with the storms tonight. Damaging winds up to 80 miles per hour are possible, and again, similar timing and with those thunderstorms. There could be some isolated tornadoes that develop, but they look to be more spotty as opposed to kind of a large straight line wind event that we're looking at today. In addition to the damaging wind threat, there is a considerable hail threat, especially as you get into the western Piedmont and go into the Triad, like Greensboro, Winston-Salem, and High Point, and out towards Asheboro, Wadesboro, and even portions of the Triangle too. And by that, we mean that there is a chance for significant 2-inch diameter hail. So that is also the other primary threat. This is something new we want to show. This is more or less kind of showing the severe thunderstorm timing for our 3 main areas across central North Carolina. And think of these plots as kind of the x-axis is basically showing the timing, so time of day, or the hour, Eastern Daylight Time, and then the y-axis is showing you the probability of the greatest threat, and the individual colors for the basically those curves. The red is for the tornado, the green is for the hail, and then the blue is for the wind. And I essentially highlighted for these 3 areas. So we have the Triad, we have the Fayetteville area, and we have the Triangle region. I basically highlight primarily the main time frame we are expecting the greatest threat for severe thunderstorms, and you can see that those are denoted by the black lines. So in the Triad region, we're looking anywhere from 3 to about 8, potentially 9 p.m. And the Triangle region, anywhere from about 4 or 5 p.m. to about 10, 11 o'clock at night. And in the Fayetteville area, maybe between 5 and about midnight or 11 p.m. midnight tonight. So this is kind of, based on what we've looked at, this is kind of the main timing for different portions of central North Carolina. And we can certainly answer your questions as we go through if you have anything later by the end of this briefing. So let's go into not only today, but the rest of the week. So today we do have these severe thunderstorms are all being driven by a strong cold front and an upper level system with a surface trough. That's going to bring that scattered to numerous showers and thunderstorms this afternoon into the late evening hours. And those thunderstorms have the potential to bring damaging straight line winds, large hail, and perhaps an isolated tornado or two. Tomorrow, that cold front will be pushing east, but there will be some lingering isolated to scattered showers and thunderstorms again possible. The coverage is going to be much less, but there is a marginal risk for some severe storms along and east of I-95. I do think that threat's going to be much less than it is today. We will see drier weather take hold by the middle of the week Wednesday as high pressure settles in. And then the real story for the rest of the latter part of the week and the weekend is really we're going to see heat and humidity really kind of building in, and also return chances for scattered showers and thunderstorms, primarily diurnally driven in the afternoon and the evening hours. We may need to consider potential, some of the heat indices over the weekend could get into advisory criteria, but that's too far out to tell right now. But we're certainly looking into that. So it looks like the heart of summer is approaching. All right, so our severe thunderstorm potential for days 1 through 8, again, today is the main threat. Tomorrow, primarily along and east of I-95. We're just in general thunder for Wednesday, and we don't have any outlooks for the rest of the week at this point. So again, today is the main threat, where you want to be sure you have a way to receive the watches and warnings, either on your cell phone or NOAA weather radio, TV stations, or radio. Be sure you have those avenues to receive those warnings. I'll pass this over to Emily, who will do the last couple slides.
Hi everyone, I'm happy to be here with you today. So first I'll start talking about kind of the expected accumulated precipitation forecast for the next 5 days. So kind of very much aligned with what Andrew was just talking about. So for today, out of the next 5 days is kind of when the most precipitation is expected to occur. And you can see that kind of highlighted in the upper left graph. Moving into Tuesday, there is still some precipitation to be expected, although most of it will be east of the I-95. Wednesday and Thursday are looking much drier, especially across central North Carolina. And then there is some forecasted precipitation for Friday. And in the bottom right-hand graph, you'll see the 5-day total, again, the majority of which will come from today. So next we'll look at the 7-day tropical weather outlook. And so really this is just looking at the remnants of Cindy, where environmental conditions could favor redevelopment, but the important part here is that it's not expected to impact central North Carolina. Next, we'll look at the 8 to 14-day temperature and precipitation outlook. So first, it's possible we'll have below normal temperatures with around 33 to 40% probability. And you can see the normal temperatures for the different cities at the bottom of the slide. So again, we're looking at below normal possibilities. And then for the 8 to 14-day precipitation outlook, we're looking at above normal possibilities or with around 33 to 40% probability.
Thank you, Emily. I will get to those questions in a minute, but just to summarize, we are expecting severe thunderstorms to develop this afternoon and this evening, with the threats of damaging straight line winds, large hail, possibly a tornado are certainly possible. We do have that threat tomorrow, but the coverage should be less. and the threat level is also on the lower end, but primarily it's going to be along and east of Interstate 95. Heat and humidity will ramp up late this week and weekend, along with that return chance for showers and storms after a little bit of a drier period Wednesday and Thursday. So hazards and impacts, we have that enhanced risk today and tonight for those hazards I mentioned earlier, marginal risk tomorrow, and may need to consider potentially some heat advisories into the weekend, but still that's a little bit too early to tell. That's all we had for the weekly briefing. And